Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Starting from Scratch podcast, episode number 8, with me, your host, John Kleisch. In this podcast, I am documenting my commercial real estate journey, starting from scratch, i.e., where the name comes from, with $0 in commercial real estate and working my way up until wherever we bring this puppy to. So if you haven't listened to any other episodes and this is your first one, go back, listen to the other 7. It'll get you caught up to speed. I'm doing my best to be open and authentic and honest with my journey because I think that's pretty cool. So I get the question all the time, John, you've been doing commercial real estate for a few months. You bought your first deal and you got another one under contract. How's it going? Look at my face. Look at my face. For those of you that are not watching me, my face is just like, gutted. So overall, it's been fun. It's been exciting. And now the problems of real estate, and not specifically commercial real estate, but just real estate problems overall. The problem with commercial real estate problems is that they're just a lot more expensive to fix. They're a lot more expensive to have. And when the dollar signs get higher, the stress goes up, the anxiety goes up, and it just makes everything a little bit more difficult. So that is one big difference between commercial and residential, is that everything is just amplified. One bad tenant is not $2,000 a month in rent. It's $7,500 a month in rent. So things get out of control pretty quickly. So what's going on in my world right now? We have a trouble tenant, to say the least. He has not paid security deposit or rent yet. And now he is officially 8 days left. And I already had to serve my first eviction notice, which was not very fun, as you can imagine. So, long story short, the gentleman has a classic car restoration business. Think of Cadillacs and old Chevys and things, and he's redoing everything. These cars are pretty expensive overall, and he does about 4 of these big ones per year. He does other stuff on the side, but the main business are these basically 4 classic cars. So cash flow is a problem for his business. I knew this getting in. We chatted about it. Not that it was like a major problem. It was more of a discovery conversation. Oh, tell me how your business works. So it's coming. Hey, Gilbert, where's the rent? Oh, can I have a couple more days? Yeah, okay. Can I have a couple more days? No, not really. Can I have a couple more days? Okay, Gilbert, what's going on? Oh, I need to consult with this guy. Okay, Gilbert, this is crazy. This is going on far too long. If we don't get rent, I'm going to get the eviction process started. That's fine. No problem. You can get it started. I'm paying on Monday, maybe even Friday. Today's Monday. End of day Monday, 8:43 p.m. Monday, August 13th. Not August, October 13th. So I go to talk to him on Wednesday with my eviction notice in hand. And I told him the night before, said, hey, if we don't get rent, I am starting the eviction process. I'll let you know when I deliver that. I go there on Wednesday to go deliver the eviction notice. And oddly, he was excited to see me. He was very happy, shook my hand, said, hey, you're going to get your money. Don't even worry about this. This is fine. I'll take it. But my funds will clear on Friday from my check that I just received from my client, and I'll get you paid on Monday at the latest. Okay. At that point, I've heard enough stories where I'm like not buying it, maybe a little bit hopeful. But at that point, I called my partner. I was like, hey, dude, 50-50 that we're going to have to evict this guy. Then I go back in the back lot to go check out tenant number 2 spot. And there is water gushing out of the pavement in the middle of the parking lot. So I walk up, I investigate, I get pretty dang close to where these bubbles and liquid or water is just flowing out of the concrete. and I step right in the middle of it, and everything goes woof. It just like squishes, water comes up gushing even more, and here we are. Uh, Literally water pipe flowing, I mean, massive amounts of water. Thank goodness we had a drain in the middle of that parking lot right next to where it was leaking from. So that's a good sign, because this thing was leaking so bad that we would have had a big problem on our hands. For sure would have flooded the parking lot, maybe even the building. However, drain was there. So that was very lucky to have that drain to save the day. However, now I'm thinking, what type of water line is this? Is this a main? Is it on the city? Why is there a water line coming in the back of our building here? That's kind of a weird spot. It's built in 55, so maybe they did weird things. So I call a good buddy, Tyler, who's been helping out with a lot of different projects. Pretty handy guy, knows how to do a lot of different stuff. He's like, hey, we can't start digging. We got to call 811 and have the utility companies come out and mark off all these lines, because we're going to need to get out my excavator and dig these gigantic holes with this big old machine, and I don't want to hit another pipe. They're 2 days out, so I'm thinking, man, we can't sit here and wait for this water leak. What do we do? So we decide to just dig this thing up by hand, which was definitely the right play anyways. He consulted a good friend of both of ours that's actually a real plumber, and he advised us to not dig with a machine. You're just asking for trouble. And the concrete was pretty soft. The asphalt was pretty soft. So we just got in there with a pickaxe and a spud bar, which is like this big, long, heavy metal bar with like a wedge on the end of it. You just bash that into the ground and it chops it up. And then we were just digging, waiting to see where the bubbles were at and kind of maneuver that way. Long story short, it's just old pipe, really thick walled copper. I'm surprised that thing even broke, but the thing was gushing. Got that repaired, ended up only being $2,500 to get that repaired. So that was pretty much a victory outside of the stress and having to be there all day, almost 2 days, about a day and a half of just being there, making sure everything's all cool and dandy. And we had to, per our lease, we had to do some improvements for tenant 2 section, was to like make a ramp out of AB. So it's like road base. That's like pretty compact. One of our other friends dropped off a skid steer and then Tyler went and picked up 10 and a half tons of AB and got that all laid out and made a nice old ramp and got that taken care of. So that's good. There might be something else that we need to do. Per our lease, we need to get the swamp coolers working, but now it's so cool outside that we're probably not even going to get that done because they just kind of rot away anyway. So that's something we can probably put off until, I would say, March, April, maybe March. We'll get that done, which is great because, cash flow is always a problem. And if we don't have to do something right away, there's definitely other things that we could use that money for. So those have been my 2 headaches with Grand Avenue so far. Overall, I just really hope we don't have to evict this guy. In our lease, he basically has 10 days from Wednesday to pay. And after that, he's got a 5-day cure period. If he doesn't satisfy and get caught up on rent during that time, per our lease, we can go in there with the sheriffs or the police and forcibly remove him and lock him out, and all of his things then become my things. And we go from there. So really don't want to do that. That's going to be really bad for the program and really bad for cash flow because he pays $7,500 a month, which is a lot of money. And I'm sure it's not going to be that easy. There's going to be lawyer fees. And per our lease, he will have to pay those lawyer fees. However, if we have to sue this guy for anything, I imagine bankruptcy is in the question, and then we will get squat. And on top of that, we are not making rent, and we have to come up with more money, which is also a problem because so far we have not raised any money for the deal. Now, that could be a great thing because we can retain our 50% each ownership. And if this gentleman does pay, we are working out a plan to slowly fix up everything that we need to fix up with the cash flow, maybe come out of pocket a little bit, but basically utilize that cash flow as best as possible to fund everything. And on top of it, insurance has been a bear that is about double, if not triple, what we thought, basically about $16,000 a year because the building's old. Not many people wanted to touch it. Problem number one. Taxes are about 15 grand. So between taxes and insurance, that's about $2,000 a month. And then our note's about $7,400 a month. So we're into this deal about $9,400. The way it sits right now is 10 and 2. So far, so good. Good news on that. He's paying right now $3,800, will be $4,200 in a couple months. So we're going to be about $5,000 short if this gentleman in tenant one spot does not pay. So that's the pickle that we are in Grand. I am still remaining positive, and hopefully this guy is just really bad with money and he's just waiting, and giving me the runaround because he is actually hurting, and not the fact that he is going to milk this thing out and play the game and be a professional tenant. That would be a nightmare. So staying positive on that side of things. Now, issue number 2, Thunderbird. A couple weeks ago, we were about to go past due diligence. We spoke with our hard money lender about the deal. Everything was good. Hey, you'll get the loan, no problem. We like the asset, very good. Just needed to get some documents from us. And the day of due diligence ending, I call the lender and I say, hey, I want to make sure that everything is good. Our due diligence period is ending today and our money's going hard. And I want to make sure that funding is still good. Yeah, we're good. You're all good, man. Cool. Sounds good, bro. Thanks, dude. Call up the broker on the deal and say, hey, we're good to go past due diligence. We're straight as an arrow. Not kidding you guys. Maybe 5 minutes after we signed the addendum to go past due diligence, we get an email from the lender. Oh, by the way, that deal that you have, and I told you it was good? Well, it turns out not good. We don't lend on vacant office. It's like, guys, are you kidding me? We knew about this deal for 30 days. You knew everything about it. You knew it was office. You knew it was vacant. And you really screwed me. So, not that it really much mattered. I guess we probably would have gone past due diligence anyways. Or maybe we would have gotten a little bit, maybe bought a little bit more time and got an extension on due diligence. So after that happened, I called the broker and said, hey, we ran into some issues. Can we get some extensions? At this point, the bank's like, yeah, right, dude, come on, let's get a move on. They were able to give us an extra 7 days on closing, which is nice. It does give us some more time. So right now, as it sits, we have the funds for our down payment and for our rehab and for the carrying costs. We just don't have a lender lined up, which we need because we're talking purchase price of $641,000. So today, my partner John made a list of all of the hard money commercial guys, specifically office-based in Phoenix, and I burned up the phones, and I talked to about 5 people. 4 of them were interested, and one of them off the bat was like, hey, I can lend you 50%. And honestly, God, at 50%, it's like barely helps out. Like, we don't even have enough to cover that down payment. So those guys are totally out. So I had a couple people looking into it, and a lot of the feedback that we're getting is vacant office, vacant office, vacant office. So I get it, but this deal is so dang good. We're buying it at $82 a square foot. You couldn't build this thing for, I don't even know, at least $150 a square foot would be my guess. Probably more, actually. Probably more would be my guess on building something new. Probably $200 a square foot. So we're buying it for like 60% off. We're thinking this thing's going to be worth at least $170 a square foot at 1.3 million-ish. And the remodel we decided to do was turn this down a little bit instead of doing a full-blown remodel. We're just going to do the floors. We're going to do junk clean out, get everything cleaned up, touched up a little bit, redo the floors, and get this thing listed. We have also 2 AC units that we would need to get redone. So we're trying to get in and out of this thing for like under 80 grand, 80 to 85 grand, 83 grand. You know how things go. So I put $10,000 buffer in there, a little bit of landscaping as well. And I like that play a lot because what does it do? Are we going to get that much more rent if we do all these crazy things? Maybe. However, that budget was $200,000. And if we're struggling to get money together as it is, we figured that A, it'll reduce our risk, it'll reduce our exposure, and it'll get us quicker to market. We'll be able to get this thing up and on the market for rent and for sale right away. And we'll take whichever we get first. Ideally, we find some great tenants at $22 a square foot. We get them inked up. We get them in the lease. However that works, they need some TI, blah, 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 whatever. Cool. We just want to get some people in there. And then that way we can go send it off to a commercial loan officer and get a conventional commercial loan, like a 25-year AM 5-year balloon at like probably 7%, something like that would be great. We can refinance all of our money out of that deal and have a cash flowing asset for practically free, I guess, if you want to think like that in those terms. But we need to get some lending on this deal first. So overall, my problems are definitely not commercial real estate problems. They're just like real estate problems in general. And it's just amplified by the fact that everything is just very, very, very expensive. I used to trade land, and our average retail value of our lots, I think, was right around $50,000. So far, I own a building, 50% of a building, that is $1.5 million purchase price, and I have one under contract that is $641,000 with a proposed value of $1.3 million. So as it sits, two deals, total value, it will be, what is that? I can't think right now. Gee whiz. 1.5, 1.3, $2.8 million. It would take me a lot of land deals to get to $2.8 million. So I am in the midst of feeling that pain right now, but at the end of the day, none of these problems will be a backbreaker, which is great. They are just thorns in the side, will make things a little bit more difficult. And at the end of the day, we got very lucky with some things as well. Got lucky with tenant 2 who's paying rent, which is fine. Lucky that that main water or that water leak wasn't a main water leak and cost 25 grand or something crazy like that. So as bad as everything is right now, it's definitely could always be worse, and I know that. So at the end of the day, I'm still enjoying it. It's still fun. We're still on the path. However, it's been pretty defeating. Definitely hard to get behind the mic and make some new episodes when you're going through it, for sure. Easier when you're, getting victories left and right. It's exciting to get on here and talk about it, but talking about this type of stuff blows chunks. And the reality of it is that that's the reality of it, and that's okay. If, to be honest, I was speaking to a friend today, and I told him, hey, if everything was going smooth and we already made 500 grand, I would be probably more worried than I would be right now about our deals. So I was expecting it to be difficult, pretty much on pace with what I'm dealing with. Hopefully everything will work out in the end. Don't have to go through eviction. We can find funding on these deals. And then boom, I'll tell you what, we would have the largest momentum wind at our back, wind in our sails moving forward, which would be great, which would be fantastic. And if not, it is what it is. We'll fight, we'll trudge our way through because that's the only thing I know how to do. And boys and girls, that pretty much wraps it up with episode number 8. I will have some other podcasts coming out with maybe some more updates, maybe good updates, maybe bad updates, maybe some overall different types of videos as well. But for now, follow me on Instagram, like, follow, share this. If there's anyone that you think would get a benefit from this podcast, please share it with them. Leave a review. Follow me on Instagram, john.kleisch. I will post updates on there and cool pictures pretty regularly as well. And that does it. Boys and girls, we'll catch you on the next one. Take her easy.